Yes, I'm taking a really thunder review of how it reflecting some of my favorite albums of the 1960s, 1970s. So start with the 1960s. So look at Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan, 1965. That's where one where just every single song is perfect, and it just has this kind of this road trip sort of atmosphere and aesthetic about it. Very complex, just imagery and layers, just atmosphere. It's, kind of almost an early sort of punk rock sort of feeling about itself. Very original from start to finish. Right along with "I Love Supreme" by John Coltrane. That's just some of the best jazz albums ever made. The original song on that album is just every moment of these songs are just absolutely transcendental and perfect, mind-bending extent. That's a perfect one. You got "Blonde on Blonde" by Bob Dylan. I think that's an ultimate summation of where Dylan kind of just really getting the Tennessee blues, just working with all kinds of great musicians. It's one of the most inspiring, influential just albums I've ever heard. Every single song just feels perfect. It just kind of feels like it's just this wonderful rock and roll sound and spirit. Um, you also have "Forever Changes" by Love. That's just my favorite album of that year, just for how mesmerizing every single song is, and it feels like it's just kind of conveying this feeling of like everything's well, but also subtly feels like something's going wrong in a way. The paranoia of this album is just undeniable. It's just a very honest kind of portrait, which just holds up as a timelessly mesmerizing, fascinating sort of album. Um, and that goes right along with "Astro Weeks" by Van Morrison. That was made in 1968. That's just trance-inducing. Every single song, every moment of it, it's just on another world. And plays a stream of consciousness from start to finish. That's a mesmerizing one. And then you got "Electric Ladyland" by Jimi Hendrix. That's just the most mesmerizing rock and roll albums ever made. And like Jimi Hendrix was just making this like a party atmosphere and getting into all kinds of offbeat sort of moods and emotions. And every song here is just perfect. Getting across just one of the greatest guitar playing of all time. Just instrumentation all around here. It's just next level. It really feels like Hendrix is like kind of foreshadowing a lot of like funk and then like energy of the '70s right here. It's a perfect album. Very, very timeless. Um, then you got the Abbey Road by the Beatles. That was a great one in 1969. Was just remains my favorite one because it kind of stands as their ultimate final statement as a band. And just kind of reminiscing, saying goodbye every sense of the word to their foundation. You kind of get the feeling everyone's already burnt out, but they're willing to bring it together just for this moment right here. You got "In a Silent Way" by Miles Davis. It's my favorite Miles Davis record. It's just a mesmerizing beauty from start to finish. These songs are just so atmospheric and rich and just sort of this feeling about it that I could just watch this endlessly or listen to this endlessly, and it never gets old. And yeah, "In the Court of Crimson King" by King Crimson. That was an ultimate progressive rock album that King Crimson made in that late '60s, which they were just completely influenced by the Beatles. And this almost feels like it was an ultimate summation of a band that was just looking at the times and just everything about it from start to finish. And then you got in the 1970s, you got all kinds of mesmerizing stuff happening here. I think that all starts right with "Bitches Brew." That was in 1970 by Miles Davis. That's just kind of a dark turn of what "In a Silent Way" was doing, and kind of makes it all incredibly um, just dark. I think Davis actually recorded this while Woodstock was going on, and this is released this the following year. This is just mesmerizing from start to finish. And you got "Funhouse" by the Stooges. I'm realizing that's just one of the greatest punk albums ever made. I mean, everything about it is just completely raw in its energy, and just it's just completely unforgettable all throughout. Absolutely love it. It's just this atmosphere. It's a very hypnotic atmosphere, simply put. And you got "Close to the Edge" by Yes. That's a perfect one. That one, it's just three songs, and it's like they're all just some of the most marvelous, just insane, complicated sort of songs I've ever heard. That's really a mesmerizing one. And then that's what I grew up with, listening to a lot of the Lake House, and it continues just to have its power, transcendence. Um, and you got "Future Days" by Cam. That's just also a perfect album. Every single song just completely has a groovy way about it. It just it's just really a perfect album, start to finish. Simply put, you got "Blood on the Tracks," 1975 by Bob Dylan. I love how Dylan kind of had a resurgence after like the late '60s, early '70s. He just kind of a lot more of a humanist personality than ever. He started that Rolling Thunder Review movement. This just ends up just kind of being an ultimate reflection and statement of this whole phase right here. This is just perfect stuff. Then you got "His Era" by Joni Mitchell, 1976. This is just some of the greatest lyrics, some of the greatest bass playing I've ever heard. I mean, it's atmospheric as it gets, and just really, involved in it. It's insane instrumentation, a lot of offbeat kind of soundscape, and This is just one of my all-time favorites right here. And then you got Funkadelic versus the Place Post from 1977 by Parliament. Greatest funk album I've perhaps ever heard. And every single song here is just a stunning masterpiece. I can just listen to this album endlessly and just always get lost into it in its ways. That's a perfect one. Then you got Low by David Bowie. That's a perfect paced album, which kind of perfectly foreshadows that like kind of like this original kind of structure that a lot of albums would take on really well, which kind of starts off as like a kind of like a more of a pop sort of sound, and then it just gets more of an experimental cinematic territory in the second half. I just love that pacing so much. Hounds of Love has it as well. Then you got Marquee Moon by Television, 1977. That's just a perfect guitar album. Some of the all-time favorite tones I've ever heard. I have Tom Verlaine. I love the atmosphere all the songs have. It's an original foundational moment. Then you got Rust Never Sleeps by Neil Young, 1979. This is my favorite album by Young, and his whole 70s run was just mesmerizing. I love every album that he made, and just so many. He's got so many songs that just mean the world. He's my favorite guitarist of all time, and this is just kind of his ultimate statement. I feel like he was really adapting to the punk scene a lot, and this was sort of the album where he was just really wanting to be philosophical and poetic about all of that. This is just mesmerizing, and getting that across from start to finish simply.